Metroid Dread has ruined my backlog. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. In case you're new to this Backlog series here on the Reformed Gamers YouTube channel, back in July I made a video talking about how I was going to get rid of my 140 plus game backlog in a year's time. And I would be uploading these videos once a week, has become once a month, updating everybody on the progress of my backlog journey. Now, going into October, I honestly had an idea that Metroid Dread was going to shake things up a little bit, but I wasn't really anticipating that I would be playing the game all month, or that I would have bought not one, but 2 copies of the game. As you can probably tell, Metroid Dread fever, whatever you want to call it, took over in October. It was even shown on here on the YouTube channel because most of the content, if not all of the content that has been uploaded, has been Metroid Dread themed. Everything that I have written for the website, which has been really one thing, has been Metroid Dread related. It seems like all of my Twitter feed was Metroid Dread for the longest time. Needless to say, I've been taken over by Metroid Dread. And like I said, that's not really a bad thing. Now, I'll be honest, I did take some time to dabble in games like Alan Wake Remastered, Tales of Arise, Castlevania Advance Collection, and I think one other game that I'm surely forgetting. It's kind of brought this interesting dynamic into my backlog journey, and maybe dynamic is not the best word, so someone can help me out here with a better word for it, but I've been faced with this idea of playing what I want to play in that moment, and if I'm honest, the only game I really wanted to play in October was Metroid Dread. Those of you that have listened to the podcast for any length of time know how big of a Metroid fan that I am and how much I was looking forward to Metroid Dread. Again, I bought 2 copies of the game. And so when Metroid Dread came out and I played it and finished it the first time, I immediately wanted to jump back into the game for another playthrough on hard mode. Although hard mode was really difficult, so they were not playing around by naming it hard mode. But then when I finished hard mode, I wanted to keep playing the game. I wanted to get 100% items. I wanted to unlock all of the backgrounds. I wanted to try and finish the game in under 4 hours so I could get one of the secret hidden backgrounds. I wanted to collect everything, and I just wanted to keep playing Metroid Dread. And I think I learned something about myself is that, and especially when it comes to tackling my backlog, is that it's important to take time to not focus on your backlog as much and maybe play something new or play something that you genuinely really want to play, even if it's an old game that you've already beaten. For example, there was a couple days where I went back and just played Tetris all day. Maybe not all day, but most of the day. Because Tetris is just a lot of fun and it's a game that I really enjoy. And so I think for those of us that are tackling our backlog, I think it's important for us to not try to play only what's in our backlog every single time that we sit down to play a video game, because I think that's going to wind up burning us out and making us resent the game that we're playing. For example, this happened with me last month when I was playing Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus wasn't a game that I wanted to play in the moment. I wanted to play Tales of Arise, but I told myself, no, focus on Scarlet Nexus first, and then you can play Tales of Arise. But what wound up happening was I wound up resenting Scarlet Nexus and hating the game to the point where I went back and forth on the game so much on the GG app and changed my review a couple times to where I went from hating the game and despising it to calming down a little bit and going, you know what, Scarlet Nexus was really not that bad of a game. I think I just resented it because I wasn't allowing myself to play what I wanted to play. And I think we need to be careful with that a little bit, because I think we just wind back up in the same spot that we started out in and buying all these games for our backlog. But I think there needs to be a healthy balance, and I'm trying to figure out what that is on this journey. So if you've been playing games in your backlog and you found that balance, leave a comment down below with some tips and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more. But something else I found out in October was that there was just some days I just did not want to play anything. There'd be times I'd be playing Metroid Dread and it would frustrate me because a boss would be really difficult or I'd get stuck somewhere, and I would pause the game and put it down and then go, you know what, I don't really want to play anything else right now. And so that opened up opportunities to get back into other hobbies that I really enjoyed, like digital art, and even discovering new ones like building model Gundams, which you can see popping up here on the screen in the video that I'm having a blast building. So if any of you have built Gundams. Let me know some of your favorite builds down in the comments below, and what the difference is between the different grades, because I'm still trying to figure out what the difference between an HG grade is and an RG grade and an MG grade. I need help on building model Gundams, but I enjoyed it. It was cool to just try out a new hobby and see how that goes, and find out that it's surprisingly relaxing and also a lot of fun to build something. And so who knows where this is going to lead. And so while this might be a shorter backlog update video, because I feel like I've talked about Metroid Dread enough, both on Twitter, the website, the podcast, everywhere else. I'm kind of Metroid Dread talked out at this point. It's been a good month, and I really enjoyed October because I got to play a really, really good game, and I'm so glad that Metroid Dread is as good as it is, because I was nervous for a second that it was not going to be that great, but thankfully it's one of the best games to come out this year. And I'll even go so far as to say that it's my favorite game of the year so far. Sorry, Monster Hunter Rise. But there is one more thing I think that is worth mentioning, and that is, where am I at with Ender Lilies? Now, Ender Lilies was a Metroidvania style game that was similar to Hollow Knight in a few areas that I was playing on my PlayStation before Metroid Dread had released. I had to get my Metroidvania fix, and I'm a little over 10 hours into the game, and I actually moved it over to the abandoned list on my GG app. But as those of you know who follow me on the GG app for any length of time, you know I have a knack for putting things on the abandoned list, going back and playing it, and then finishing it, and then going, this was a really good game. And I still say that Ender Lilies is a good game. It is worth checking out. It's really cool. The art style is great, the music is great, the controls are a little clunky, but they work really well. But I just reached a point where I got stuck and I wasn't having fun and I wasn't enjoying it, and so that was around the time that Metroid Dread came out, and I decided, let's just move over to Metroid Dread. But I've since looked up a walkthrough, and I realized that I missed several areas, and that's why I feel so underpowered. So I'll probably go back and give it another shot and see if I can finish the game through. But with that being said, that's my update for my backlog. I didn't play a whole lot outside of Metroid Dread, so hopefully November will change that, but I doubt it, because Forza Horizon 5 is coming out, and that is sure to suck up all of my free gaming time. But what about you? What are you playing? How's your backlog journey going? Leave a comment down below and let me know, and let's talk about it a little bit. As always, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button, and I don't know, tell me what your favorite video game is. But if you like this content and you want more, or maybe some playthroughs of Metroid Dread, or even some tips on how to complete the Shine Spark challenges in Metroid Dread, hit the subscribe button so that way you never miss an upload, especially if you hit that bell icon. With that being said, that has been this episode of the Backlog. And until next time, be a deer, keep it locked here, and I'll see you in the next video.